Hey there, everybody. Playing Discord here, and today I want to talk to you about a new game that I have fallen in love with. Actually, so much so that I really don't have time for much of any other game outside of Pokemon when it comes down to TCGs. Magic has done everything they can to push me away, and Flesh and Blood has done everything they can to drag me in, not even kicking and screaming, but willingly and happily, with my arms outstretched and praising the Lord on high, because this game is actually a lot of fun. And I just want to talk about why I will no longer be covering MTG content in general. I may cover some things, but I'm pretty much done with it. Flesh and Blood, it's the new thing, and not necessarily the new thing, but it's a better thing. And I think I've kind of grown out of Magic for the most part. And I'll jump into that here as I discuss with you guys. So let's talk about why I'm making this video. Well, I want to retool my channel over into doing something in regards to TCGs and TCGs that actually give a shit about their content creators and actually give a crap about their community and actually care about the game itself. And they're not full of full on woke culture and appeasing to every singular small person out there who has a loud voice and screams and cries on Twitter. I want a game that's made for adults. I want a game that's grown up. And unfortunately, Magic has moved from that. They have targeted themselves into an area kind of to compete with the kids who are moving out of Pokemon and even out of Yu-Gi-Oh! And into Magic. They're trying to target kids that are in their teenage years and early 20s. They no longer really care about those of us who are in our 30s and 40s and 50s who have been playing the game since 94 or 93. In my case, early 1994. I remember opening up alpha and beta packs in my local LGS where I was from. I had to drive 40 minutes to that store just to get booster packs. And I used to go there to actually, surprisingly enough, collect coins. I was into coin collecting when I was younger. And I walked into the store. He did everything for collectibles. He was just basically a collectible store. And I saw this amazing game, this new game, and kids from my local school were playing the game in the store, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with Magic the way it was, the old style, the old ways, the old borders, the artwork. The artwork. Oh my gosh, the artwork from the sets back then really meant something. They actually had power in their ability. And through the years, Wizards has done everything they can to water the game down to me. And I've lost interest in it. I've, in a way, grown beyond it. Yes, do I get still excited about new sets coming out? Do I look into them? Sure, I'm interested about that stuff. I actually kind of like spoiler seasons, and I enjoy seeing what they're doing beforehand. But when it comes down to playing the game, the only thing I really play for Magic is Commander. And I'll play Pauper as well. And I used to play Modern religiously. I never liked Standard, never loved it. I always thought that it's definitely a good gateway gameplay for new players coming in, but seasoned veterans like myself, it just didn't have that taste, didn't have that feel to me. So I just kind of walked away from it. And then Arena came out. They asked us to try to test play it. I was among one of the first like 500 or 1,500 test players for Arena. And, it was fun at first. And then WotC mucked it all up. And they've mucked it up consistently ever since. They don't do things right. And then cut to late 2020, November 2020, Flesh and Blood comes out. I knew nothing about the game. I really wasn't interested in picking anything else up. I was still pissed off with WotC, and I'm like, I'm just done with TCGs in general. I'll start picking up Pokemon product because A, it's starting to get hot again, and B, my daughter is becoming to an age where she really is into the game. She actually plays the Nintendo DS Sword and Shield with me, and she really wants to learn how to play the card game. So at my local LGS, I started spending more time buying booster packs of Pokemon. And then a friend of mine, I saw playing this different game. And I was like, well, hey, what's that game there? And they're like, oh, this is Flesh and Blood. Do you want to sit down and give it a try? I'm like, you know what? No, I really don't have time for another game. I really don't want to get into it. I don't want to have especially if it's something new. I just don't want to invest my time into it and be just devastated when it fails. Cut to a few months later when I start seeing Rudy covering the game itself, his endorsement of it, as well as Open Boosters. Oh, I believe I saw him covering the game and talking about it. I think Edwin has also covered it. From my recall, correct me if I'm wrong, Edwin. If you're watching this, let me know if you did or didn't. I don't remember. I think you did, as well as other people starting to pick up this game, and I was like, okay, what's up with this? And I was back over. I thought to myself, I might as well ask my store next time over there, and I cut to February, March of this year. And I was in the store, and a couple of my buddies were there playing Flesh and Blood. And I'm like, hey, what's up with this game? And they're like, hey, we would love to tell you, but how about you sit down and experience it? And I was like, well, I don't know if I have time. They're like, dude, just take 30 minutes of your time and play one game. Learn to play one game with us, and you will fall in love. And they kind of hit on my feels on that because they're like, remember back, because they also collected Magic back in the 90s, and they remember when the first sets came out and the excitement that came from opening booster packs then, and the love that we had for the game. Cut to that, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll sit down and play a game. I sat down, played one game, totally expecting to be dissatisfied with it and walk away from it and never look back. Cut to 4.5 hours later, I was still playing the game, and I was actually getting calls from my wife like, honey, when are you going to get home? It's getting dark, and the kids are hungry. You said you were just running out to the card shop to grab a couple booster packs, and you're going to grab dinner. And I completely lost track of everything, and I was like, oh, man, this game is amazing. Unfortunately, my store didn't have much in the area of product. Most of the guys there have picked it up online. And my store has only just started to buy into it. They are starting to see the popularity that it's starting to garner and the actual pretty strong fellowship that it's building within the LGSs in the local area, because there's some stores that are starting to fully support it. One of them did get into it at the very beginning, from what I understand, and they haven't looked back. They have loved it, and they are starting to run tournaments and events, and that really excites me, because Flesh and Blood is a game that has that feeling personified of Magic. Is it Magic the Gathering? No. Is it a replacement for it? Yes, it is definitely a replacement. It is not Magic in any means whatsoever. There are some, and I would say some minute similarities, especially when it comes down to old school Magic. For instance, the art design is reminiscent of old Magic, reminiscent of those classic artworks, those classic paintings and drawings. That's one of the big things that pulled me to the game. Is the design, the art design on it is beautiful. It's absolutely wonderful and really enjoyable to look at and to behold. Every card has a special feeling of a masterpiece of a work of art, and I really do enjoy that. Cut to also the playability of the game. You can sit down and learn this game in 15 minutes. Magic takes, you can learn it in 15 to 30 minutes. However, it takes months, if not years, to really learn the whole game, because in the very beginning, you first start learning out, you learn what a creature is, you learn what lands are, you learn what a deck is, and how to play cards, and then you eventually learn instants and sorceries and these other special things, and the Magic is in depth. It has decades and decades worth of flavor and history. Flesh and Blood is only just starting out, but the strength of its flavor, the strength of its design, the strength of what it is and how well made it is what's appealing to me. It has that feeling. It has that this is a game that if it was in the 90s would have been as successful as Magic. And at this point in time, I think I'm happy to say that it's coming out now because I think this is going to be a legitimate contender against MTG, especially in regards to popularity. I think this game is going to do what many other games have attempted to do and failed, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Not so much, but Pokemon, yeah, and Pokemon gets its resurgences. And what comes with Pokemon is the fact that it has an anime history with it. It has the collectible card game history with it and a video game history with it. All of it ties into each other, and all of it feeds each other and feeds the people that play the game and really pulls on both the nostalgia strings as well as new player strings and gets people excited about the game. And we get these moments where Pokemon becomes so popular that you can't help but to want to get back into it and try to make millions off of it. You know, you see some popular YouTuber open up a $100,000 box of first edition, and everyone thinks they lose their gourds, and people are going through their old collections of Pokemon trying to sell it for millions to be a millionaire. Flesh and Blood has that feeling that it could become something like that to me. It has a great economy. They have picked up that style of Pokemon of first edition, unlimited edition print runs. That first print run is always called first edition, and additional print runs past that are unlimiteds. And I really like that because it adds some type of value into the game, and also makes it so the game can be accessible in regards to reprints. They're doing it right. They have looked at the economy of the card games. They've looked at the economy of Magic. You can tell that they've looked at the economy of Magic and of Pokemon and of Yu-Gi-Oh! And they see what these card games have failed at and what they've succeeded at. And they have tried to bring in the success sides of things and tailor their game towards the success end of collectible card gaming. The game is just really amazing. It's fun to play. It's brisk. And if there's anything it would be comparable to in Magic the Gathering, I would say comparable to that of Commander. You have one hero that you play as. You equip that hero with armor and weapons. And then you have a deck that provides you with extra actions throughout the game that you utilize to defeat your opponent. And your character tells you right on it, which I'm going to be doing a video on how to play with the game. Especially once I get some starter decks, I will be showing how you play the game. The great thing about this is the fact that the game really is easy to learn in regards to, like, what life do you start at? Well, whatever the life is listed on the card, the character card. How many cards? How large is your hand size? Oh, it's based on what the character stats are. So it definitely has that strong D&D feeling, dungeon crawly, fight adventure ring, kind of like a Pathfinder. Everyone's playing in like the Roman Colosseum, or they're playing the gladiatorial battles, 1-on-1, or the ancient samurais of Japan fighting 1-on-1 in the battlefield. It's really cool, and the game takes into account like how you play, and they don't punish you for things like your deck running out of cards. The punishment is, well, you don't have any more resources to pull from, so try to survive. If you can win off of that, then congratulations, you won off of it. If you can't, well, I mean, eventually you're going to die anyway, so play through it to the end. That's the one thing I love about this game, is they actually took into account a lot of different things that I consider interesting faults of other card games. Needless to say, I will be doing Flesh and Blood on this channel. I will be focusing on Flesh and Blood on this channel primarily. I will talk about the other card games occasionally, but if you're here for anything else, I'm sorry. I hate to disappoint. I'm going to be focusing on Flesh and Blood content, Flesh and Blood booster pack opening shorts, especially when I start getting product in. I'll be doing shorts of me opening the booster packs. Will I bring Richard back for this stuff? I don't know. I'll think about that. I'd much rather have this be more of a much more serious channel when it comes down to content like this. But I do want to let you guys know this is the thing, and I do plan on doing this. And I plan on doing content as often as I can. The other great thing with this game is it also has great flavor and great history, just like Magic. There are heroes. It tells you all about the story, the World of Wrath, the game itself, rules and policies, everything, organized play, events locator. I'm going to go through this website. I am going to literally walk through this website with you all in videos, short videos to long videos, on articles to everything. I want to look through this and talk about these things. And God forbid, if I'm lucky enough to grow my channel and also get like preview cards, that would be pretty freaking cool. Sounds like Flesh and Blood, the creators really want to reward content creators for their work. They really want to get this to be popular, and the game's already really growing in popularity in LGSs, especially with the fact that they took on a more of a support the LGS rule versus hurt the LGS rule due to COVID. I really love that. I really, really love that. But needless to say, guys and gals, I've been running you guys' time for quite a while. So at this point in time, I do want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys in the next video covering Flesh and Blood. It's here to stay, and I think this game is going to make complete waves in the world of collectible card gaming. I'll talk to you guys again next time. This has been Playing Discord. Over and out.